Kandit's Daily Crime Report. I'm Johnny Rosario.
And I'm Danielle Bassa.
It is August 15th, 2022, and we had a full schedule today. This morning, our news, and then we had Ken's show, and then we had Miss Selena, the congresswoman from Saipan.
Biba.
Viva Sapina Selena. It was an honor. She's, she's a very strong woman. Hamdu real. Yes. So we are going to get into it. We do not have the what are those things?
Booking photo.
There you go. For
Vicky Singh.
Vicky Nicholas Singh. It didn't come in yet, but rest assured we will put that up on our website.
Facebook and IG.
Yeah. www.candidnews.com. And we are starting off with Vicky Nicholas Singh. On or about August 14th, Guam police officers were informed that the victim was at home in his wife's... What? I don't know. I'm reading this verbatim, okay?
Yeah, I know.
That the victim was at home in his wife in their residence located in Derito, Guam. When his wife, Vicky Singh, became angry at him for playing his radio too loud and began yelling at him about multiple things. During the course of yelling at the victim, the defendant began to scratch victim on his chest, pulled on his shirt, and tried to grab a medical port located on the victim's upper chest, which is for receiving medication. The defendant also reached up as if to choke the victim with both of her hands. The victim, who is 69 years old, was able to get up and move away before the defendant could wrap her hands around his neck. The defendant also yelled at the victim that she was going to kill him. The victim thereafter left the residence. The police officer who interviewed the victim observed that the victim had two scratches approximately 2 inches long on his chest under his port on the right side. The entire right side of the victim's chest was red. It was also noted that the lower button of his shirt was ripped off. When the police went to the victim's residence to speak to the defendant, she initially began yelling, "Just effing take me." As soon as police asked the defendant for her identification, she thereafter stated that she had anxiety and wanted the police to leave me the F alone. The defendant thereafter agreed to accompany police to the Derito Precinct Command, where it's not like she had a choice, where she waived her rights and admitted that she and her husband had gotten into a heated argument after she told him to lower his music and he would not listen. She further stated, "I would never hit him. I already promised him I wouldn't hit him because I've hit him before, but not now. So I did it before."
But not today, no.
No, that was before.
Those scratches are scars.
Defendant was at times crying hysterically during the interview, began to pull on her hair and laugh out loud while still crying.
I know, and that's...
Based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to charge Vicky Nicholas Singh with family violence.
Next we have, I think it's Oichiro. So on or about August 14, 2022, at about 11:50 a.m., GPD received a call from a woman at New Plaza Market in Tamuning, Guam. Officer Amaguin met with the victim with her 2 children, who reported that she was awakened that morning when her boyfriend, Iro Oichiro, mounted her, wrapped his hands around her neck, and squeezed while cussing at her. The victim described the pain he caused and further stated that she pushed him off of her and she walked to the door when defendant pushed her on the back of the head behind her left ear. Officer Amaguin noticed the victim to have redness around her neck, swelling and discoloration on her left cheek, and slight swelling to the back of her head behind her left ear. The victim described running away to the store to call the police and that defendant had followed her and was there across the street under a tree. Officer Amaguin went to speak with him, discovered a man who claimed that Ira ran towards a nearby warehouse. The victim confirmed that the man the officer spoke with was defendant. Defendant reported that only the victim's feelings were hurt and no physical altercation took place. Officer Farron was able to notice scratch marks on the defendant's face. Defendant reported that there were no scratch marks. Defendant then stated that the scratches were from his shaver. However, Officer Farron noted that the defendant's face did not appear recently shaven. Defendant is on pretrial release in CM 482-21, a family violence case where he had the same victim. The order of conditional release and appearance bond specifically lists a no contact with the victim and the children. Based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to charge Iro Oichiro with 1 count of family violence and 3 counts of violation of a court order. And then we have...
So he's a repeat offender.
Yes. That's where I got his photo.
Okay.
From our...
we are going to get right into the Dedido sex offender registry, but we're only going to do 5. I got to head out and pick up my baby from school. So we'll do 5 of these sex offenders. So we are starting off with Kenneth J. Regis. This is page 6 of the Dedido, of the village of Dedido. Kenneth J. Regis, unsupervised, level 3 sex offender, born in 1985. He's Chamorro, 5'6", 140 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Born on Guam, last profile updated August 2nd, 2022. He was convicted in 2009 of 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct. His victim is female, age 19. He has a tattoo of a jester tribal symbol on his left arm, a tribal symbol, koi fish body with dragon head and scales, and flames to elbow on his right arm, a sun on his right calf, 4 teardrops under his left eye. He has a Japanese character and Regis on his left hand. His last known address is 385 Chalan Matagwat, Dedido. He is unemployed and no vehicles. And that is Kenneth J. Regis. Ooh. How do I get back to the...
Right there.
Oh, no.
Next is Larry Lopez Regis, unsupervised, level 1 offender. Born in 1968, Filipino, 5'11", 160 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, born in the Philippines, and last updated in May of 2022. He has a conviction date from 1995 of first-degree criminal sexual conduct, and his victim was a female aged 26. He's got a tattoo on his right arm of a tribal band, on his left hand a tribal band, and on his left leg is a sun. His last known address is 216 Atulati Street in Dedido, and he is unemployed and has no vehicles.
Here we go. Kevin John Roberts, unsupervised. I believe he's in he might still be
Looks
in
familiar,
DLC. Right? Yeah. Born in 1980, level 1 sex offender, Caucasian, 5'5", 190. He's bald, brown eyes, born in Hawaii, and last profile updated January 20, 2022. He was convicted in 2009 of second-degree criminal sexual conduct and 2011 second-degree criminal sexual conduct. His victims are female, age 9, and female, age 12.
Wow.
He has a dragon on his right upper arm and Roberts on his left forearm. I don't really care for this guy, so let me just put that out there. 129 East Agag Court, Dedido.
Well, who would?
Yeah.
You cannot fight a conviction date that happened.
Yeah, this is that girl's friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't really care for him. So this is my bias. Here we go.
Cecilio David Rodriguez, unsupervised status, level 1 offender, born in 1944, Hispanic, 5'7", 200 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, born in California, last updated in June of 2022. He's got 2 convictions in 2012. His offenses are both lewd or lascivious acts with a child. His victims were female, age 8, and a female, age 10. He's got a tattoo on his right upper arm of Mia, Teddy, and Dad. His last known address is 111A Chalancareta, Dedido. He's unemployed and he has no vehicles.
Okay, last one. Francis Fio Roosevelt. He's on probation, level 3 sex offender, born in 67. Chukis, 5'5", 170 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, born in the FSM. Last profile updated July 19, 2022. He was convicted in June of 2021 of 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct and assault. His victim is female, age 21. He has a tattoo on his right arm of Family First and a flower. On his back, he has an image of a lady. On his left forearm, he has heart and love. And his right hand, he has stars and Uman. He is currently residing at 258 Q Chalin Paraiso, Derido. He is employed in E220 Harmon Industrial Park Road, Timoning. Okay, that is it.
Today.
For today, we did 6, right?
5.
We did 5. Oh, that was 5? I thought that was 6. I
Wait,
think that
let's
was
go
6.
check.
I counted it.
Okay.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait, 5. You're right. Sorry. Sorry,
It's okay.
guys. I'm moving
Johnny's
along.
always right, even when she's not right. You gotta just go with it, or it'll just take longer.
Sorry, guys. Long day. Thank you for joining us for this Kandit's edition of the Daily Crime Report. Please drive safe. Please watch out for the kids on the road and have a great night. We'll see you in the morning.
As a defense attorney, I've represented many people who, if they weren't poor or they had received a higher education, may have taken a different path. As senator, I will propose a scholarship for those whose struggles are less academic and more financial. Let's keep our university full, not our prison. I'm Thomas Fisher. I not only approve this message, I wrote it.
Paid for by Tom for Guam, Drake Diaz, Treasurer.
The Jones Act is a 1920 law justified on national security grounds as a means to bolster the U.S. maritime industry. It restricts domestic shipping to vessels that are U.S. built, U.S. owned, U.S. flagged, and U.S. crewed. However, this law boosts cost by banning foreigners from competing and forcing Americans to purchase ships that are up to 8 times more expensive than those built in other countries. The result is higher transportation costs. Shipping oil from Texas to the Northeast, for example, costs 3 times more than importing oil from Africa. Ultimately, consumers foot the bill. In addition, higher shipping costs push freight from ships onto other sources of transportation, such as trucks, which means more traffic and pollution. Meanwhile, this blatant protectionism has failed to benefit builders of ships in the U.S., whose production is less than 1% of those in China and South Korea. Domestic builders have seen over 300 shipyards close since the early 1980s. Jones Act defenders claim the law ensures adequate U.S. ships during times of war, but during U.S. deployments during Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm, foreign-flagged commercial ships carried twice as much equipment as their U.S. counterparts. In fact, the U.S. was so desperate for shipping that it twice requested the use of a cargo ship from Moscow. Both requests were denied. So the Jones Act has failed to achieve its shipbuilding and national security goals while driving up costs for consumers. It's time for this outdated, costly, and ineffective law to be repealed. It's time to end the Jones Act.